to affordable housing.
Promo way there, I had the. Some you use me mumu. If you say MTN Echimachedia no, Edia two turbo, brand new Samsung 65-inch UHD Smart TV, and a brand new 2019 Hyundai, and a fit 3,000 Ghana there. You should say mono. MTN Momo. Still, Misaka, the journey of 1,000 smiles. Yashasya 10 years ago, and to celebrate this milestone, MTN give you away exciting prizes in the MTN Momo Attend promo. Yeah, you use Momo no, you could win one of the 2019 Hyundai i10 cars. Yasama or Samsung Smart TVs for baby, and they up to 3,000 cedis e-cash every month, and a grand prize, 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe in the MTN Momo Attend promo. Into sign it on and they keep using your MTN Momo. Now when it big, if it's happening, I see August every year, only on Ghana's best network. Dial *120#. Now check your points. Terms and conditions apply. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
My name is Amina. I work with the Immigration Service. You are my eyes and my ears in our fight against crime and terrorism in your community. If you see anything suspicious, please say something. Call the police toll-free number 18555.
This public service announcement is brought to you by your friends at Joy FM. Hashtag, if you see something, say something.
Hi, I'm Ian Walker, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, and this August I plan to challenge myself by cycling 1,000 kilometres from the north of Ghana back down to Accra. Ghana is a beautiful, friendly and vibrant country with amazing people doing great things. The warmth of the weather is matched by the warmth of the welcome and the amazingly friendly people that I've met during my time here so far. Rather than seeing the country through the window of an aeroplane or through the window of a 4x4 vehicle, I want to meet people in their own communities while travelling through the country on my bicycle. I want to tell the optimistic story of Ghana out of the many things that unite the UK and Ghana together. Our heritage, food, culture, music and values, while emphasising some of the challenges that we all collectively need to get ahead of: plastics, forest reserves and climate change. The UK has long partnered with Ghana in this domain, and many of our medical experts have trained side by side, either in the UK or here in Ghana. I'm hoping to meet many of these people who are doing tremendous things to support the health and well-being of others. Cycling is my own way of making a healthy lifestyle choice. What's yours? I look forward to hearing when I'm on my cycle. As the plan for the Ghana Grand has become clearer, so too has the sense of challenge. And I've been encouraged to raise some money for Korle Bu Hospital, which I'm delighted to be doing, in particular for the plastic surgery and burns unit.
Prior to May 1997, when the center was commissioned, there wasn't any established plastic surgery practice in Ghana. So we deal with cases ranging from people who are born with birth defects. And then we also deal with situations where, due to a disease process or injury, people become deformed. Yeah, I think Yed is very brave, but I think it is a very good cause, and we are very grateful that he's taking this on and to give us the necessary, that kind of support.
On the last day of the cycle, I'm hoping other people are going to be joining us too, and we'll cycle as a group straight back into Accra for the final leg of the Ghana Grand. Look out for hashtag the Ghana Grand to follow us then. Cheers.
My name is Amina. I work with the Immigration Service. You are my eyes and my ears in our fight against crime and terrorism in your community. If you see anything suspicious, please say something. Call the police toll-free number 18555.
This public service announcement is brought to you by your friends at Joy FM. Hashtag, if you see something, say something.
Adom Praise is 10 years. Hooray! It's on Friday, 6th September.
Adom Praise is sponsored by Big Maron Pharmacy, Race Homeopathic Clinic, Unique Price, Vitamil, FPAC, Franco Trading Enterprise, Serene Insurance, Feco Spray Starch, Sasso, and Roma Insecticide Spray.
Adom Praise, yeah, baby.
0.7 FM. Yes, this is Showbiz A to Z. My name is Na Ashoko, and I've got great news from MTN. MTN Momo is celebrating 10 years of making lives simple by giving away 10 brand new Hyundai cars in the MTN Momo at 10 promotion. Yep. For the month of June, Rebecca Quay was the lucky winner of the Hyundai Grand i10 2019 model, fresh. So keep using your Momo on MTN. Build points and win exciting prizes like the Samsung Smart TV, 3,000 Ghana cedis in e-cash, or one of our brand new Hyundai cars, including the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe from now till the end of August. Remember, the promo winners will only be called with this number, 0244 300,000 to redeem their prizes. You can dial star 120 hash, check your points, and win. Terms and conditions apply. So go on, just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go. And diplomacy meets challenge, grit and determination this August as the British High Commissioner to Ghana, His Excellency Lane Walker, cycles across Ghana from the north to the south, covering 1,000 kilometers. Yep. It's dubbed the Ghana Grand. It's an adventurous journey seeking to rekindle conversations about health, natural environment, tourism, and so much more. And most importantly, to overcome the challenges facing the plastic surgery and burns unit at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. We're trying to raise some funds to support the unit. So for 10 days, Lane Walker will be cycling through Ghana. He'll be interacting with some extraordinary Ghanaians and making stops to experience the beauty and warmth of Ghana. Remember, the challenge is not just to overcome 1,000 kilometers, but also to raise some funds for the plastic surgery and burns unit at Korle Bu. To support, please dial MTN short code star 700 star 9 hash. Follow the prompts and type in the code the Ghana Grand. On Vodafone Cash, you can send the number, your donation to the number 020-7566-351 or Standard Chartered account number 0100-104-061801. Follow at UK in Ghana across all social media platforms for all updates on the Ghana Grand. The Multimedia Group is a proud media partner of the Ghana Grand. So, the time is 3:26 and my distinguished guests are here. Uncle Ken.
Distinguished by. Hey.
Uncle Ken, you don't like distinguished?
No, fire extinguishers.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. And how are you?
I'm great.
How's your week been?
Never been better. Yeah, I've been sleeping a lot.
I was just reminded by one of our listeners that you came to Joy FM from EIB. Did you?
Uncle Ken, yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yes.
And there's been a lot of activity happening there.
Is that right?
So I'm told.
Well, we'll get to that, won't we?
Are we going to get to
Uncle
that?
Ken, I want to talk about Liverpool.
Okay. That's the only way you can get me off this course.
You must be a very happy man.
Why? Because currently we are leading 1-0.
I don't know. Tell me. What's
Yes,
the news? With
No, we are leading 1-0. We're playing Southampton currently, and we've been very lethargic.
Oh.
Actually, from the first 45 minutes that I watched, I wasn't happy at all with our play. And we cannot make the excuse that it's because we played extra time midweek and penalties, because we are better than that and we're not playing well. So I just hope we win, that's all.
Well, I hope you win.
Yes.
Because of you.
Win. Yes, thank you.
I like your hair too.
Oh,
Uncle Ken, I've never seen you with hair on your head. I like the new swag.
hold on. This has to come from Philip Knight,
No, Philip hasn't said anything.
the producer. What are you talking about?
I do.
Okay, let me confess.
Okay.
I decided to do away with my hair and shave it all off for a while.
Okay.
And then I thought about it. I kept it on for a while, and as it started growing, I said, oh, why not? Let me allow the hair to grow
So you're rebranding.
once again. So I'm rebranding. Yeah.
Well, I love it.
You see, you people,
It's nice. It's nice.
you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
I love it. You've got very nice gray
texture.
hair in the right place. Like, yeah. I like it.
Thank you. Now
I like
that's
it
what
very
my
much.
you know, my nieces
Okay.
said to me,
Haven't heard about them
Uncle
in a while.
Ken, keep the hair growing. It's nice. You know,
I
things are in
agree.
the right places. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you're saying same.
Yes,
Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Rasta,
Nah,
how do you do?
how do you do?
It's good to see you as always.
I'm excited to see you.
How are you?
Very well. How are you too?
I'm fine. What's with the mischievous smile? What's
Yes.
going on?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure how to poke some holes into you. I mean, something.
Into my what?
Just to do something. Yeah. I mean, being my normal, usual self. Warming up actually to Bukum tonight.
Oh,
Yes.
There's a father and son affair there.
Shatta
and
and
Tiny.
Tiny.
Yes. And I'm actually coming from the grounds.
Oh.
Yes. So
how are preparations?
yeah, it's in earnest. It's everything is building up to quite a mammoth. I mean, it's Shatta and Tiny in Bukum Square.
Wow.
Can I come? Can I come?
Can you
Please.
imagine?
Will you take me?
No, I won't. But I mean,
Oh boy.
because I can't be responsible for your exciting. I mean, night. I cannot. That's going to be a lot. Of work.
What's wrong with? I mean, what do you mean?
No, please. I would want somebody else to be responsible for your freedoms on the night, like this evening.
I don't understand. What do you?
It's going to be
Further
a
explain.
bumper to bumper, human to human. It's going to be thick. The crowd.
I can imagine.
So you
Yes.
mean you don't want to be responsible for my safety or for my
I
excitement?
haven't used. I don't even know how
You
to
said
spell
excitement.
it. Yes,
What?
that's what I cannot
But
be
she's
responsible for.
I don't even know what
Please.
you're talking about.
You can carry a weighing card to attest to your being gone, but media, I beg you,
I can carry my words.
your weighing card or something. But media,
Rasta.
I'm just going to stay alive. In fact, my friend was just advising me to not attend tonight's event because of the beautiful history I have with Tiny, having served him for almost a decade.
Is that
And
right?
then yes, I was his manager for
Yes.
forever. And then 9 years, 6 months. And then I also have a beautiful history with Shatta Wale, a very recent
So
one.
what happened with Tiny? What happened? Why did you stop managing him? We've been talking about Tiny all afternoon, actually.
Oh, okay.
Philip
You
Nye and
and
I. Yeah.
You'd live long for
Excuse us,
Tiny.
the guys have taken over the program.
Yes, and rightly so.
I
It's
tell
for
you
more.
what. So I put on my status. My mother teaches me old Ghana songs, and it's one of the things I love doing with my mom. You know,
Right.
singing old Ghana songs. And
Yeah.
last Thursday, she was teaching me a song, which I put on my WhatsApp status, and this young man said the song has made him remember some of his old Ghana songs that he wants to teach his son. Ask me what song that was.
What?
Ringtone.
Wow.
You know ringtone?
No, we recorded the ringtone.
It was by Tiny?
Yes.
Yes, I think.
okay.
Milalani, Milalani.
Bones did the. Yeah, I hope I'm not accrediting the wrong beat maker here, but Bones did.
You know, let me play ringtone for you to listen to.
Red. I love
a simple. Worries are in jail, rack back there. Wow, where is your ringtone? I got my ringtone. I'm talking about a girl with colors like a rainbow. My girl is simple, simple, simple. Where is your ringtone? Ringtone, ringtone. That be my rainbow, rainbow, rainbow. Where is your ringtone? I got a ringtone. I'm talking about a girl with colors like a rainbow. Like a. I love you, I love you. 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 Limita obo mismo bo kashimi na emula chobeke mi opale blemble osuba injemba oji money mismo no kemi pe ayano ilago smolala no sande kumbela wa nyemo shon no bla 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 baya bopunto nyemo bla bla shi o baya o e for godimba no apuno ngelaya You see, Matio, push out on the beating to you. Oh, no, they're being you, Mindini. Wow, where is your ringtone? I got my ringtone. I'm talking about a girl with colors like a rainbow. My girl is simple, simple, simple. Where is your ringtone? Ringtone, ringtone. That be my rainbow, rainbow, rainbow. Where is your ringtone? I got a ringtone. I'm talking about a girl with colors like a rainbow.
So Uncle Ken, in Philip Nye's attempt to teach his son indigenous Ga music,
right?
Milalani,
we are in trouble.
Milalani, Philip Nye.
But now, I see. I just said that we are in trouble, but then again, I would withdraw that statement and appreciate the bit about culture, which is not static.
Okay.
When you look at
it's forever
Ghanaian,
changing.
you know, so this is a true reflection of the dynamic bit of culture. And
right.
If Philip Nye in his early 20s and his son is probably like a few months old, and this is, of course, I mean, if he is this young, I mean, playing this track, I'm trying to, a lot of memories flooding, like, you know, and I'm like, wow, who was where, who did what? I say, baby, did www. He's in America. I was just having a conversation, a chat with him on via Instagram. And I was telling him that he'll never come to Ghana again, which is true. Trump will be looking for him for a very long time. Richie produced the remix, and I mean, everybody brought their A game to bear on the record. And when it got to Tiny's bit, it was like, there was nothing else for him to say. It was like, Mila Lani. That was very funny, but it also brought to, I mean, some gloss on it. And we're traveling everywhere with this song,
you know. The Mila Lani, you know.
Yeah, Charlie, and the force within, she said it, Charlie, don't lose guard.
That's all I heard.
Yeah. Mila Lani.
But Tiny has always been one of my all-time favorite musicians. I love his use of Ga proverbs in his music, even though he's not Ga. Like a lot of things he said, I call it Selimona.
He's not Ga?
Yeah. He's not
No,
Ga.
he is.
He is?
Yeah. He's
Tiny?
No, he is. The Quanos come from Osu.
Yeah, he's a Quaino.
I was missing
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then his of course, I mean, we all have some mixes. So a bit of him, his father's side come from I think his maternal grandparents are from Mingo.
Oh, okay.
And then
that's
still
Gadang.
Gadang.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then
Gadang,
his mom's come from a bit from Osu, and then from Ivory Coast too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, from the Côte d'Ivoire. So yes,
you know him very well.
No, I mean he was okay. So this is it. Me and Obrafour was working, and then Obrafour left to England, and then Tiny had always been my area buddy.
Of course, Niado.
Yes. So we lived in the same neighborhood at the Hacho Ekomok area. And it was Hamad that introduced Tiny to me. He told me that, you see, this guy, this guy, the next big, he was like raving all over. And then, like, where do you live? We found out that we lived in the same neighborhood. Then he was living all by himself. Everybody, his relatives, parents were in England. So the last child was living all by himself in his home in the 5-bedroom. So that was more like a safe haven for we in that neighborhood. And then I was also in the space writing at that time. So he would always be playing, rehearsing to Jay-Z's JD of Alan Pine, Hammer of the last two. He was always rehearsing. I mean, a lot was happening with him. The Mokula Kwakwe album was recorded spanning a period of over maybe like 12 months.
Okay.
That's how difficult it took. Even the
did you work on it?
No, I didn't. I was then with Hammer as a last two boy, not as of course. I mean, look at me. Which kind of talent are you talking about? So yes, as a last two boy.
But you were writing, you said.
Yes, for Veros Netes Sound magazine, and contributing to the independent arts. Yeah, so that was just hustling. But all of them knew me as a writer who could get you into the limelight.
Yes,
so I was playing that role, and they were doing their thing, and I think I earned some respect from them because I wasn't pretending to be an artist, but being content with bringing together a bit of business that was so critical. So, and then I broke my duck when I organized an event at Accra Sports Stadium on behalf of Accra Hasselfolk Sporting Club Limited. I was 19 when I did that. 19 years.
You were 19?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to the secretariat. They were then at Tudu. And then I went upstairs looking all very hungry. And then it's a long story now, but basically, eventually, I signed a contract between Accra Hasselfolk Sporting Club Limited. They gave me a lot of money to organize a concert before Kotoko played Hasselfolk there. That was the first match between Hearts and Kotoko after May 9th disaster.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 19. So that was when Hammer was like, this guy, this boy. Then he introduced me to Obrafo. Then I became, Obrafo was my, like, everything. So he had just returned. People were saying that
you have locks at the time?
No. I was living in my father's house, and when you live in Yabekun's house, you don't do certain things. You comport yourself. So, Obrafo, wow, there's so much, and this is also Obrafo, and Hammer was introducing me to him. That was when I registered Execution Entertainment, like at the registry. So I was serving in that capacity, like knowing that I wasn't a musician. I mean, my father was one time like, who did you make chicken again? You want to be on. And it was quite not pleasant. But today we have bloggers. It's a job, a paying job. At that time, there wasn't anything like, well, out there in the West, blogging, micro-blogging had started. So that's just, but how many people had laptops in, let alone mobile phones? Obrafo bought me my first mobile phone.
Wow.
So I've always served the game, and then Obrafo left, me and Tiny started working. He was telling me that you are my manager. It's like, no, let's let this guy be your manager. So I said, you be my manager. He thinks he will.
It's great to listen to you, talk about your work and things you've done. This is about the very first time I've heard you talk like this on this show. Since I've been on.
Yeah. I've hardly been in this spot to speak to these things, But the truth of the matter is, you do not end up to sit here to speak to issues without some baggage, having served the game. So sometimes people go like, where is this guy coming from? This is the guy that initiated the campaign for greater discipline via Obrafo.
Yeah, I remember that campaign.
Yeah, it was me that went to his house and then broached the issue with him. And at that time, Mr. Obi Amwa was the legal attaché at the vice presidency. He gave us a dex. Yes, he wasn't an MP, he wasn't a minister. Yes, he gave us a dex. Me, I was there. Yeah. So, through music, we serving the game in a certain different light. We did a Shibon to MP by and so TV so no other. I was sitting with Obrafo in his hall in Taifa when we saw the MP dozing off. And then we were all, Mohammed Khan was there, and I think Papa Shi's junior brother too was there. I think he was in the kitchen, and he rushed in. I was like, also what done it? The next moment, Hama calls me, Charlie, we'll do some compilation. At that time, we had dropped the Tofa album with Time Out for Adhesion. That was Brafo's third album after Semsebe, Pemuka Semsebe, and then Tofa. So, your Hini, the original one. Hey, Brafo, the original one. Then he tells me that, Charlie, if I bring your boy come to the studio, make we do remix him. Like, yo, how do you? The Tofa album is just out. Those days, executive producers give a lot of money, upfront money, and there's a whole, we were hoping to get huge money before. Now you're telling us that you're going to remix the headline track on the album. Lo and behold, that's the Shigege. Tiny on, So I've been around. I have served.
You have been around.
Yeah.
Philip wants me to say this is the first time you've been serious on the show.
Well,
I told him that wouldn't be appropriate. But
no, with me, I think considering what I've doled out, this is cool. I mean, yeah. So I am guilty as charged. Yeah.
I think you're always very serious, though.
Thank you very much.
Don't mind this Labadi fisherman.
You are very kind.
Oh, but by the way, you can join in our conversations on WhatsApp on our number 0244 340 437. 0244 340 437. Join in by all means. We would love to read from you. On Twitter, the hashtag is showbiz A2Z. A-T-O-Z. A to Z. Yeah. And I'll read your messages. Anyway, how did this tiny conversation even come up? Tonight's concert.
Yeah. So tonight it's happening. Loud Mix. Kuwait, that's Tiny's senior brother. He's the general manager. Halifax plays a role. In fact, just when I was leaving, Bulldog was calling Halifax over the phone. Like, everybody is involved. It's a family, And
how did this concert come up, by the way?
I wouldn't know, but our Ghana folks in this part of, especially in Accra, they owe it almost like a duty to their base. That whenever it is Homo, in fact, there's a rival concert happening somewhere else around the Bukom area. Yes, tonight. I think I saw the flyer somewhere else. But
I see.
Yeah, so it's going to be thick tonight. It's going to be lots of fun. If you decide to come in, I hope you do. You'll be on your own.
Uncle Ken will bring me.
Can you imagine your options, Uncle Ken? I mean, you are so blessed.
What do you mean?
You are so blessed.
Thank you.
You are in a comfortable lead. But please, when you see me, Trim.
I'm a pro barrister.
Oh, Jaisa. So tonight is a father and son affair.
Is it free?
Yeah. I mean, no one's going by here.
Hey. Which part of Bukom?
Bukom Square. Not Manchagbona.
Manchagbona.
Okay, Manchagbona.
Thank you.
But the square.
The square itself.
Is Steve Harvey coming?
He will do himself some good to come to pass.
Is he still in town?
The last time I checked with the immigration,
Rasta, you see why Philip and I was saying the thing.
Charlie. Yeah. So yes, tonight is happening at Mancha Agbona. Agbona. Wow, that's a new one.
You said not at Mancha Agbona, but the Bukom Square.
At the Bukom Square, yes, Bukom Square. Not at the Mancha Agbona.
We'll see how we'll go.
Okay.
And so it's to commemorate the Homo War.
Yes, series of activities lined up. Even going there and then coming out was quite. The traffic was building up already.
Okay.
So I was telling Rose that listen, I would have to park at the Trotro station and walk.
You were telling who?
Rose.
Who's Rose?
My friend.
Oh.
Is it the same friend you were talking about earlier?
Okay.
On this show.
No, off the show.
Yes.
You know, sometimes it's difficult to, remember what was on the show.
But
and
do
what
you
wasn't
know-
on
do
the
Next
you
time
show.
you want to
Rose?
think aloud, can you not do it?
Yeah.
It depends, Uncle Ken. It
Do
depends.
you know Rose?
It depends, Uncle Ken.
Do you
on whether
know-
it's the same lady he was talking about
Yes,
before the show. In which
yes,
case, I know about her.
Oh.
Yes.
Me, I don't know any Rose.
Yes. It's good. So, yes, I had already picked my spot near the Sadamic area, the Akotolante area,
Okay.
you know, the Trotro station there, because I wouldn't want to leave and then somebody is maybe asleep or can't find his keys or her keys, and
You'll be
stuck.
trapped in there.
Some of us have a life beyond tomorrow, So.
I am a bit. You said, Na asked you when you mentioned this concert. Na asked you how much was being charged.
Yeah.
And you retorted by saying, "Na mbanye shika yebie."
Yes.
And that got me thinking. Are you saying that you can't charge for a show at?
There is no the structures unless you take it to the boxing arena, then you can. It's a barricaded
okay.
area,
Because
but this is an open space. And
okay.
if you are fortunate to have some sponsors, I think this is more like private Ghana people.
And this is a sponsored event.
Not in that sense, but persons have contributed a lot of money to make this happen. Shatta is a very good Ghana indigene.
Correct.
And also
I can understand.
a very
Polygon
good, and also a very good businessman. And so if tonight's show is rained off, he would by Monday, in fact by now he would have been notified of something in his bank account.
Okay.
Shatta is
I
not
understand.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He wasn't yesterday. He didn't go to a disco. He won't be tomorrow. Yes, so
I
Shatta
understand.
would appear tonight because it is work.
Yes.
I saw a story headline that involved Shatta, that he said that he's not been paid to perform at somewhere where the Minister of Arts comes from. I think they used his name to headline a concert.
I see. You saw it in the news?
Yeah, I saw it in the news that there's a concert that I think they got ahead of themselves, and because the minister of the sector was it's within her constituency, I think they used his name.
The current minister?
Yes, I've forgotten her name.
Well, we'll
The
check.
one who came from the forestry ministry.
Catherine.
Okay, so
We'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check. And
yeah, but
inform.
Shatta is basically he's collecting, whether Ghana or Chinese, or Shatta ought to be paid, and rightly so.
Anyway, Kwame Rasta, there's a message for you from Ransford in Adabraka. I always admire Kwame Rasta for his candor. Even though I have never met him. I'm sorry, did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Dow.
Yeah.
Right.
Even what?
Dow.
When you watch the Forex news on Sky,
But you knew what he
DOW.
meant.
No.
He meant even though.
No, while I was reading it, I didn't. But
Oh,
but
okay.
after I read it, I
Ah.
yes. Anyway, Uncle
You
Ken.
see what you just read.
Yes.
And you said, even thou.
Yeah.
Because that's what the person wrote.
Yes.
Even thou.
Yes.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I suggested to our producers that we treat this subject of social media English being part of the reasons why a lot of our people fail the English language exams. BC, because there was a report that 74% of people who sat for BEC failed the English language.
Yes.
And you see, this person who sent this innocently thinks that he's right.
Yeah.
It's because it's texting showbiz A to Z. This is showbiz language.
Yes. So
You see, and that has been the argument.
And it's Rasta too. So
And that has been the argument.
School FR.
Uncle Ken, if it was a message to Uncle Ken,
No,
Yeah.
he still would have said that.
written
The mirror would have been mirror.
crisp,
Mirror.
Meroic English.
Mirror. Yeah.
The English should have been crisp.
Nah,
Them
nah.
days English.
No, don't make excuses for the person. This is an issue
Yeah.
that is critical.
It confronts parents and
It confronts.
scholarship a lot. Like I've read enough material on this, the dearth in acknowledging and recognizing that we are diluting the way the English language ought to be written and then spoken.
Sorry, ought to be what?
Written.
What did he say?
Written.
And this one you agree?
I don't know, Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken, you see, I wrote my BET 2002, so I'm part of them.
Please. So this is it, and Charlie. Sometimes when your niece wants to you to borrow lend him or lend
See
her,
how you are struggling.
lend her
Because the
money.
niece will say, borrow me.
Borrow me.
Mhm.
But Uncle Ken, you see,
But then it is not right.
No.
yes.
And you see the problem we're having. I asked the producers that we discussed this last week. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough time last week
Yeah.
to
last 2
discuss
weeks.
this issue. And when you try correcting people, you are
Too no.
branded
Aliche.
being
Ali
too
Chong,
low.
yeah.
And then they go for exams and they fail. And they don't understand why they have failed. Now, it's a very serious issue. You said to me just now that the person was texting Showbiz A to Z.
He was texting Rasta. On Showbiz.
A combination of
If they were texting Uncle Ken,
Yeah,
obviously,
And were they not texting Nash or Showbiz A to Z?
but because it was directed, hello, lady and gentlemen, I really like Uncle Ken and his way of expressing himself. I wish to meet him one day. And that's a social media English language proposal. And that's from Stephen from Somania. Uncle Ken, did you see what I did there?
I know.
I know. And the spellings are just on point. The punctuations
He
have
sent it to his English teacher to read before he sent this message.
You
I'm
know,
not sending Rasta there, Charlie.
Hello, Na. I am Paper Smiles, doing the listening all the way from Obama City. I really love the show very much. Can you please play me Sun Out Here by KG and PM of the last two films?
Yeah.
it's
that-
nice.
Yeah. That's one of the classics of
Yeah.
the last two. Some
Maybe-
of us were
maybe-
disappointed when Hammer came here. The playlist that Obete put out. In fact, when we were coming here, we were even
Where is he?
we did a three-way, and
You did a what?
a three-way like over the phone, like conference,
Okay.
speaking to the
The
playlist.
playlist.
Because for rest from the last two stock, we Hammer is like there, there's his peer list, and the kind of classics. If you should play this KG and PM record, it is that rich. That was Hammer at his ingenious
best.
best, and yeah, so the texter knows. I'm sure it was inspired by the conversations, and he or she is coming from our blog, and
Okay. You know what? Let's listen to Sun Out Here. Stephen from Somania, this is for you.
When I did the cabinet, be small. Girl, they connected me like the internet. Upon and all that I say, I they say to anyone. Like I know if I for shop them one by one for fun. It be me they day. Now my girl they take me place a chat. Nah, my advice me, Charlie, my wifey, hey. My heart fine, you they take pictures, Kelly. The only girl way I do love she they play me make a game, oh what time me. Hey, you know the kind, they tell me bash my ride. The car parts you buy, far but so kind. Today times have changed, when I said you he be city. We make a phone like pity. Oh my sweetie, sweetie, tell me why you do me so. If you sound out here, okay, tell me make a go. They see say in bad young play in Kwasefo. I jay but half for do my brother. If I no stop, I go suffer. I'm minister, never go argue, me don't let it time. But they love and flash flood, hush hush. Before seeing him, hush hush.
Ain't this sun out here? I buy you a week, one for me, Uncle C. Ain't this sun out here? Watch it, Jimmy. Uncle Johnny, so mean and swag. Ain't this sun out here? Sun out here. Oh, me come shy. Ain't this sun out here? What? I'll buy you a so. Ain't this sun out here? What? I'll buy you a so. Ain't this sun out here?
Sana out here. Charlie, it's not bad at all. What was that in the beginning? The instrument.
Hammer loves his violins.
Oh.
And
he plays?
No, he doesn't. He creates them and he expresses them through the keyboard.
Okay.
You know, so that was him.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Okay, so he creates them, envisages them in his mind.
The violin.
Yes, that's the creative process. You create in your mind, and then expressing it, you use the keyboard, which has been that's digital. It has everything, all the instruments there on the keyboard. So,
do you think that the actual instruments sound better than the digitized ones?
Now, for me, my orientation has shifted. So I record live. The last production I worked on, I brought together 8 musicians.
Okay.
Very expensive, and that's how come
which song was that?
It's unreleased. It's by a record by Free.
Okay.
So that's where I am now. Even if it is rap, that's the only way I would know how to assist in production. But back in the day, this was it. Okay, and it is Hammer.
Yes.
It is Hammer. There's only one Hammer.
Yes.
So he gets this right, doing what Kobe Spikey, Spikey here?
Yes, here. Geek Squad.
Yes. When Hammer came here, he's been a Hammer groupie all his life. He plays beats.
Yes, he does.
Good. So he introduced himself to Hammer, and then he says, listen, there's this instrument that features prominently in the way, your beats and whatnot. What instrument is that? I want to know. Just like you're asking me what. And then Hammer was like, oh, and I was just observing from a distance 2 creatives, like one a protege, one the mentor. And so back in the day, it was a new wave of production from the analog way. Video had its fair share of transition. The Socrates Sappho started filming on, gadgets that were considered disrespectful to the art. But today we have cameras, So the Kwansas were stuck in, and they still believed in their celluloid, the way it ought to be done, the GBC, Nkrumah trained way, that kind of thing. But hey, the Ghanaian, I believe the Black Stars in S, has always shown irrespective of structure. And that's the more reason we have come from high life, bugger high life, hip life. Now we are doing our own thing.
And back to high life.
And back to high life, like what I've been involved in. You should listen to the track. Why would I put together 8 musicians at a very high cost that could record like 5 songs from somebody's EP or even an album? Because orientation-wise, I am shifting towards a certain, and that's it. So there's nothing wrong with either. It's about how you feel and how you want to express your art. Then you go for it.
How about quality?
quality, yes, quality-wise, analog is always the ish. You cannot. If and then
Philip,
longevity.
did you hear what he said?
Yes. Sadiq is not here to go on about
Sadiq
it.
is not here, but
Sadiq is not here to go on about it.
You know, we see, and coming from a Hammer background, and then having served under Kiki Bansin.
How is Kiki Bansin?
He is. The last time we spoke was on his birthday, I think, earlier this month or last month, and he's very well. He's into other businesses, yeah. So, and then having seen what the last Kiki hires an orchestra to produce on the last Becca album. I've forgotten the title. The Dark Eda album. No, the one before the Dark Eda or something.
You lied to me.
Please, not that one. There's this record that wasn't commercially successful, and it set Kiki back almost 8,000.
Ooh.
Back in the day. There's this pastor of the Spintex Road. He has a standard studio. I've forgotten his name. Pastor, he I think he's a music lover. He even has an album. But the studio is top. Like that's what when we went to England, where standard. That's where we did the recording. It wasn't commercially successful, but today, if you should slot in that record, you'd hear the live elements in the way, like when the acoustics are right, or you have the right speakers, you listen to music. So quality-wise, the analog way of recording
is the best.
And that's coming from me.
So is that what they do elsewhere? When we listen to the good music from Beyonce, Jay-Z,
yes.
Do they use the analog way of recording?
They start by recording digitally.
Okay.
To surprise you that maybe Beyonce herself, having been around forever, would even put her ideas that way, digitally, from her laptop or a studio at home. Then she would send the material to the producers or the producer that she thinks can best bring out that X factor in its purest form. Then they'll send the different parts to the different guitarist or the bassist, the lead bass, percussionist, whatever. And then they learn their parts before they come to the studio. Then they come with the instruments and you have to strum, you have to kick.
Charlie.
Yeah, so it's an entire science.
It's a whole ceremony.
Now listen, we have sound engineers in this town. We have sound engineers. We have studio engineers. Before we have producers, we have beat makers. It's a whole science. And they are trained people in this town, but because there is no demand and there is no acknowledgement for their specialized labors, if you do not multitask, some of these people, their parents, families sent them abroad for higher education in sound engineering alone. But when you come and you say you're a sound engineer, in the production chain, you play a specific role. If you rely on it, maybe somebody from your own family would even poison you for being very useless. Because nobody will pay you for that work alone. Because the person who even was an apprentice in the studio is a sound engineer, is a recording engineer,
beat maker.
He has learned how to play the beats. So you go school, you go for Israel or Russia or America, so you be sound engineer. So make they do their own finish, make you bring your sound in. Brother, you go hung. You understand? Yeah. So this is how diluted and maybe we not being serious or professional enough. But then again, I was speaking to the need for music to be taught in our schools. If we were coming from that block,
I think it used to be one of the subjects we studied in school. Music,
it was
music
steeped in the classics, in the reading and writing of music, which is, of course, ought to be a main constant feature.
Do we still read with a G clef and all those ones?
It is still there.
I see.
And it pays a lot. It fetches a lot
so
out there.
Our artists know how to read those?
No, please don't get me wrong. Like out there where there is art. Okay. But in this town, very few. There are few Boga High Life musicians who write. I think Okrekumante was telling me of one of such musicians. Maybe he's passed or he's still around. You know, people know a few, but because of the proliferation of these digital instruments, and because we are too talented, we took our fate into our hands. Because you see, even Hammer, when he started, guess who the sound engineer of the studios he went to was? JQ.
Okay. So
Hammer has his art in his mind, okay, but he doesn't know anything in the studio.
I'm sorry.
He has the art. He knows what he wants in his mind, but to express it, to bring it to life, he knows that, okay, he's a drummer. He told us here he was a drummer, so he needs to go to the studio. Okay, so I want this sound. Then the engineer there, okay, maybe at that time he wasn't a producer, just a sound engineer, would also sit and look for that particular sound. Okay, no, give it this timing, do this. So Hammer is then the beat maker. You understand? The sound engineer who assisted cannot take credit for the beat because that's not his
creative
creation.
work.
No. The recording engineer is the person that sits and makes sure that the vocals, or if there are any live instruments to be brought to bear on the production, the recording engineer makes sure that, oh, listen, this, a lot of things. Specialized divisions.
There are a lot of people in the chain.
Ideally, and everybody gets paid through royalties, apart from the commissions and whatever has been agreed upon.
I beg your pardon. I thought it's a musician who pays all these people.
You see, if you don't pay me, I won't come.
I mean, who pays all these people?
If you won't pay me, I won't come. So if you can play your thing, play it. So you look sharp and look for me and pay me. And because the copyright system until recently, and we still have our challenges, was that non-existent. Musicians, session musicians will come to play their senku and go back and go and serve the church, and then when they pass on, they'll be buried peacefully. You know, the church always takes care of its own. But out there in where we come from, if you lose God and you are sick, royalties, it won't come, because who go give you that?
So you are saying that
yes,
after a piece of musical work is produced, all the people in the chain,
yes,
ought to be paid royalties.
Arranger, the person who arranged it,
even though they were paid by the artist who brought them all together to produce the work.
Listen, when I worked with Paul Epsworth, he produced Adele, not Adele in Bukumu, the one that you
someone
England.
Like you.
Thank you. He produced that album. Okay, now I worked with him here before we went to England to complete the work.
Okay.
Now
you're not a small man.
No, I'm very wealthy. You should come for a loan. So when we started the process here, he came with his idea, and then I served on it in a certain capacity. Of course, that didn't require any talent. So he told me what he wanted. I sought in consultation with people who know. It is Paul Epsworth. So I brought the best percussionist at that time, brought the best bassist, Dan Grau. I brought this. And then they played their tracks here at Sammy Helwani Studios. But when we got to the studios, Paul was like, holy, this just like what I have back home.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, Sammy Helwani Studio is...
At that time, it was almost a few months old. You understand?
Yes.
So, blah, 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 and then we record. But before we took the tracks to England, everybody was made to... I paid them in dollars. Here. Everybody was made to sign a form. Okay? That would, with the Royal Society, Copyright Society in England. So that their due, royalty-wise, will trickle down to them if anything becomes of the record.
I see.
Yes. So ideally, that's how it's supposed to be.
But that's not what it is.
Hey, if you don't find some church and comport yourself there by being very obedient, playing every Sunday and, rehearsals, Charlie, how you go pay the rent?
I see. I would have thought, my understanding is that the person who employs all of these people, that's the artist, has economic rights in the work. And so they get all the money. And everybody else has moral rights in the work. And so, of course, he'll give them their acknowledgement that this person did this and this person did that because he paid them. No, I mean because he paid them to do the work.
You see,
it's like when you have, like, if you're in work, like I work here at Joy FM. Every work produced here belongs to Joy FM because Joy FM pays me a salary. So
do you create anything artistically? Is it in your? Have you looked at your employment letter? And I mean, please don't respond to that. Now, you see. Ghana Munti. I have a documentary that it's underfunded, so it's stuck. Now, I found out who invented it. It didn't come with the Torah from heaven when God was blessing us with the 10 Commandments. No. Somebody invented Ghana Munti. Now, over the years, we have used this rhythm, somebody's creation. And his family, you should go and look at them. They don't even know what their forefather did.
I guess because it's become like one of those things that, what did they call them? Oh, what did they call them? I've forgotten. Folklore.
Yes.
Like our Edinkra symbols.
Yes.
Even though they were created by specific people, those people cannot.
I think somewhere in the BA, there's a chief that from a certain community that has laid claim with some proof that they ought to be compensated, and rightly so. Listen, we have sat in this town and out of illiteracy, okay, mistaking General Assassini to be a folklore music. This matter appeared in court in Ghana, not in 1960 or something, a couple of years ago. A telecommunication company in this town took the song and then used it as one of their
sick tune
for one of our national occasions.
Okay.
Where did they get the permit from? Because they've been to school and they are Ghanaians. They know the right thing. They went to the folklore board. Sought permission from the board. The board also ceded
granted.
Because they also know.
Assumed that it was folklore?
They know. Because if you're assuming, you be careful. You know that the song, God added it to Rock of Ages. Okay. The Amu family took them on. All the lawyers from both sides. Eventually, they had to settle out of court. General Assassini.
It's not folklore?
No, General Assassini was composed originally in Ewe in 1929.
Okay.
And then translated into Twi with the help of Chiamia Kwesi, Kufu, and a few others. Dr. Ampofu from Ampon Equiapem. There, in 1932, I think. Now, it was his song, like the way Shatta Wale composed Shatta, Freedom. The way he used his talent to compose that song. Amu used his to compose General Assassini. And then, down the years...
Oh, my goodness.
Amu died in 1995.
Oh, not too long ago.
Yes. So you see, ideally, not until after 80 years can you use... can you infringe? Even that you cannot infringe, you can use the song
material,
but it's subject to the surviving family or members of the deceased granting that request.
If it falls into general use,
you understand. So in 1995, and then I don't want to give the year, but quite recently, and then a whole serious national authority body, and then a telco with lawyers, and then they infringe because they are all illiterate, and then it ends up eggs in their faces. So again, if we had music being taught in schools, the person who created Ton 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 Tunu, a reverend minister who died a very long time ago, so that's here, his families would have been acknowledged in a certain light.
Yeah.
Amused, I'm sure listeners would even go like, is this not, can't I take this song, Yenara Assassin? Hey.
It's not folklore.
It is theft, and you go to hell.
So now
for
you
it.
know the creator of the song or their family still deserves their due. If you want to use
until after 80 years, and then there's another
when it falls
process
into general use.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. I mean, Rasta has given us a very, very good, very, very good education on copyright music, folklore, and all of it. We should have more conversations like this, you know.
Yes, it depends on the pace, the tone you set. Yes,
Philip wants me to say.
Yes, that's why I also said.
Serious.
Yeah, when you set the tone, then we follow.
Yes. Garbage in, garbage out. Okay, Anobo, you this me, Anobo. But yes, that was a very good talk. Thank you so much, Rasta. Yeah, I don't know say you know book like that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Uncle Ken. There's a message for you, Uncle Ken, which we will read later. So I'll come to it. But we've been seeing some photos nowadays on social media. I've been so excited to see one of my favorite TV show hosts and his lovely wife, Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey, in Accra. And we've seen them. We've seen a lot of other people come, especially last year in December. Now it's about the year of return. The year of return in Ghana 2019. We know it to be a major landmark, spiritual birthright journey, inviting global African family to come home to mark 400 years since the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in Jamestown, Virginia. So while this month, August 2019, marks 400 years since they arrived in the United States, the year of return Ghana 2019 celebrates the cumulative resilience of all the victims of the transatlantic slave trade who were scattered and displaced all over North America, South America, the Caribbean, Europe, and Asia. So, the Ghana Tourism Authority here in Ghana, under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Creative Culture, is leading the project in collaboration with the Office of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the President, the Panafest Foundation, and Edinkra Group of USA. And one of the main goals of the Year of Return campaign is to position Ghana as a key travel destination for African Americans and Africans, in the diaspora. So this year, the events planned throughout the year will serve as a launch pad for a consistent boost in tourism for Ghana in the near and distant years. Beyond tourism, this initiative supports one of the president's key developmental agendas in Ghana. Of course, we all know it to be Ghana Beyond Aid. So we're going to be talking to the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority. He's actually joined us on the phone line now. His name is Akwesi Agyeman. Hello, sir.
Hello, Na.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us on the phone line.
You're welcome.
So, how's the Year of Return going?
I would say amazing. Both the planned and unplanned, everything is going well. And we look forward to the rest of the year. But so far, I would say so good.
What are some of the unplanned things you talk about?
You know, when we started out, we put a notice for event organizers to come up with ideas for us to endorse them, come up with a calendar. And so we had about 78 endorsed events. And so those were the planned ones. And the unplanned ones is when you get a call from WWE saying, we want to come to Ghana. We've heard about the Year of Return. We have Kofi Kingston, who is Ghanaian. We want to shoot a documentary on him. Or you get a call that Samuel L. Jackson is coming in to shoot a documentary on slavery. I mean, those were not part of the calendar activities that we put out, but clearly the message has gone out there, and the African diaspora is responding way beyond our imagination. So we're quite excited about that.
Yeah, that's very exciting to hear. So these documentaries, have they started filming yet, or they're yet to coming?
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson just left, I think, last week.
How about Kofi Kingston?
Kofi Kingston's on is also in the works, but they've shown some on the WWE channel. We also had a group from Barbados who have done a movie called Joseph. And Joseph is the biblical Joseph who was sold out to slavery and then came back to lead his people, sort of. So that is a storyline on the Joseph Project. It's been shot here in Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, Elmina, and that will be premiered here in November.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations.
So things are happening,
Exciting to hear. So how are we cashing in on all of these events that are happening, them coming down here, the documentaries they're filming here and all of that? How are we benefiting?
I think there are several strands. I mean, one of them being the sheer numbers who are coming in. I mean, obviously, if you look at the value chain of tourism and the hospitality industry, once people come in, the whole value chain, aircraft are getting their due, hotels, restaurants, fashion designers, transport, everything gets touched in a way. And so that is that bit of it. But then you also have the business deals that are being made. I mean, for example, these films that have been shot here have local partners, if I should put it that way. We have producers, directors, and people who have worked on these projects. Then you also have the number of mentions Ghana is getting out there on social media. I mean, all these celebrities are posting stuff about Ghana on their timelines, and it's the mileage that we've been able to generate out of the Year of Return is not something that we could have paid for. I mean, almost all the international broadcasting houses have featured Ghana. The Year of Return has really helped position Ghana as a pilgrimage destination for the African diaspora. And so we want to pick on it. But we don't want it to be something that is just inward looking. We're really genuinely wanting to have a conversation and a re-engagement with the African diaspora in terms of business opportunities, in terms of opportunities for knowledge sharing, and all those things come to play. So it's not just people came in here, taxi drivers made money, hotels made money, and that's the end of the story. We really want some re-engagement, and that's what we've been putting out there to the diaspora as they come in.
I've seen photos of Steve Harvey on social media, his wife. You know, he came in, he was wearing an outfit by our own Chocolate, a Ghanaian designer. I saw photos of his wife at the So Aesthetic makeup company in Osu, and Christy Brown, the fashion designer, etc. Now, all of these are great, giving local, Ghana some exposure on their various pages. But beyond that, for example, using our local media, etc., how are you using the various media platforms that we have to promote this Year of Return and all that it comes with?
We're doing that internally. We wish that we had all the resources to really be able to go out there on all the media platforms and explain. So we've been doing it in bits and pieces as and when we get opportunities like you've given us this afternoon. And so we're building on a case for a sustainable plan for this. We don't want it to end in 2019. It's a year of return, but we're looking beyond the return. What is it that we can do? Business opportunities that we can project out there. How can we get our media to also, because for us, one of the things that we want to do is to use this as a mindset shift for our people to know that truly we can, if we believe in ourselves, we can put ourselves out there. We've been able to showcase products. We've been able to showcase, like you indicated, Chocolate being worn by Steve Harvey is an endorsement that I don't think anybody could have dreamt of. But he's been able to do that because he pushed himself. He's put himself out there. Yesterday, Pop Mensa Bonsu, who just came into town, I saw him also wearing Chocolate. So I was wondering, how does he get them to wear his clothes when they come in? So he's pushing himself out there. He's seen the opportunity. So we want to tell the others that, look, there are opportunities. People are coming in. Let's not sit on the fence and wait for them to come to our shops. Meet them out there. There are several programs that we have advertised. For example, PanaFest, we had the daughter of Malcolm X here. We had AJ Johnson. We had so many of them. We had Kente weavers from Bongre, chasing up all the way to Cape Coast, to Elmina to get business. And that is the spirit. Let's look out for the opportunities. They have been advertised on so many platforms, but we don't have the resources to cover everywhere. So as much as possible, people need to also put themselves out there, listen in, and find ways that they can also engage.
People have asked me many times now, so I put up on my social media when I saw that Steve Harvey was in town, that he's in town. And I've had a lot of people asking me, where can we find him? How can we meet him? Where are they? I mean, is there an itinerary that you advertise, or how do people know what is happening, where they'll be, and how they can take advantage?
Okay, now I think I indicated earlier that there are the planned ones and the unplanned ones. The planned ones are the ones that we have advertised. For example, on Tuesday, on the 20th of August, we have Jamestown to Jamestown. The 400th year day is 20th August 2019. 20th August 2019 is the first documented arrival. And so that is a day that we are going to celebrate here. On the 19th of August in Jamestown, Virginia, the group led by the NAACP President Derek Johnson is going to fly out here to Ghana, and they will arrive exactly 8:30 on the 20th of August. That has been advertised.
Where? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to ask. But where? It's difficult for, or it appears to be difficult for a lot of people to know.
www.yearofreturn.com. But so people go out there. We always advertise on the Ghana. Visit Ghana.com. Visit Ghana handles on social media. Ghana Tourism Authority, Diaspora Affairs, Pan Affairs, all of them.
I see. But you know, these websites you mentioned are known to maybe industry people. Okay, panaffairs.com and all of that. But how about, I mean, this is a year of return, is big. All these people are coming to Ghana. You have access to Joy FM, multimedia, you know, the papers and all of those. Why it seems that you haven't used the media enough to publicize the year of return and all the activities and all that comes with it?
I will say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that as much as possible, we've done more media briefings than any other agency of the state this year. Almost every week we call the media in, and Joy FM, the Joy News, Joy TV have always been there. They've covered, almost all the channels. So we put it out there as and when they are coming, we announce that this is coming. We've also partnered on some of the programs that some of the stations are organizing. For example, we are a partner on the Ghana's Most Beautiful, which showcases what has happened in the past and what is coming. We have other media channels that we've supported. Some of the heritage shows, tourism shows, we put it out there. But like I indicated, I don't think that is enough. But we don't have that pot of gold sitting there. So we take advantage of situations as they come along. When we have an opportunity, we announce them. We try and share the handles that we have and the links to the sites that we have. Now, those are the planned ones. But then the unplanned ones are like Steve Harvey saying that I've heard the call of the president of Ghana that people should come. I'm going. He packs his bag and then comes in. And then you get a call that Steve Harvey is in town. He wants to...
You didn't know he was coming?
So we knew he was coming, but as it goes, we didn't plan the itinerary for him. He had his own itinerary.
So he came by himself?
He came by himself. He came by himself, and a lot of them have come by themselves.
So we are not paying anything. I mean, he's taking care of himself and all of that.
No, he is taking care of himself. He's doing his own thing. He's just been generous enough to say, look, guys, I know you guys are organizing this. I want to come. I'm coming in. I'll arrive this day. I have opportunity for us to meet, and let's talk about what you're doing. Show me some of the places that I've heard about, and that is it. So it's not somebody will go out there and we couldn't help, so that's what it is. So those are the ones I call the unplanned ones. But then as it comes in and it starts going viral, people, I get a lot of calls and messages, where is Steve Harvey? Some of the people also come in and saying, I'm coming in on a holiday. I'm not here to work. I want to keep my stay here private. Can you please not announce it till I'm gone? And we need to respect that. So it's a mix of everything.
I see. Interesting. But what would you say to people who say, or I've seen many times on social media, that they are not feeling, quote unquote, the year of return. It's like people come in, a few industry people know the activities for them, and then they go. But Ghanaians are not seeing or feeling it.
Okay, I think it's for some of them who have come. If they are on private visits, we will understand why people may say they don't feel it. But the rest of them who have come, we've had concerts. I mean, as far back as February, we had Muta Baruka here. He had a big concert at the Brick Gardens. We've had Ghana, Jamaica Music Festival. Some of the acts that came in, Deborah Cox was here. They all had concerts. They met up with industry players. There was media there. So that is as far as we can go on some of the things that we're doing. We've had the feedback, and what we are doing is we're looking forward to the next half of the year, especially building up to December, where we know there are several activities, concerts, and a lot of them are coming in to really now put themselves out there. For example, in December, when we had a full circle, the feedback was that industry felt that they didn't get the opportunity to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've taken that feedback. So we're working on the next itinerary for the celebrities who are coming and how they can work with people. Next week, for example, we have TV1 coming in here. They're also shooting documentaries, Lens of Culture, and they've agreed to work with us on a master class on production and directing for the industry. The Creative
next
Arts
week,
Council,
you said?
Yes. Creative Arts Council, led by Mark, is handling that project. And I know they'll be in Accra, in Kumasi, to meet up with the industry players, the film people, to see how they can impact and how they can connect. Because our dream is that we will have a lot of these productions shot here in Ghana. And so if they know that we have the resources here, we have the talent here, then it's the first logical step for us to take.
I see. So aside the people who came down for the full circle in December, has the tourism ministry brought any of these people down this year, or all of the people we've seen this year came by themselves?
They come by themselves. So what we do is maybe, for example, facilitate visas, because sometimes the visa regime is a bit cumbersome. Visa on arrival, we make sure that their stay is comfortable if we have to help with the security and other things. But they come by themselves.
I see. So the next batch of people who will be here will come in December from the tourism.
Next week we have 250 people coming from NAACP, which is the largest.
250 people?
Yes, led by Derek Johnson, and we have Danny Glover on that trip as well.
I'm hearing about this for the first time. Has this been advertised?
Jamestown to Jamestown, it's all over. It's been advertised, but like you've indicated, maybe we need to do more. We will do more, but Jamestown to Jamestown is happening live in Jamestown, Manchabona. We've met with the chiefs. The community is fully glued in, and they are looking forward to the big diver, the welcome diver in Jamestown. Danny Glover is on that trip. We have Derek Johnson on that trip. We have several.
Jamestown to Jamestown.
Yeah.
I see. I'm struggling a little bit with the fact that 250 people are coming down for this Jamestown to Jamestown event you're talking about. I haven't heard about it. I haven't read about it. I just searched online, and I'm still not seeing anything. So
you not seen Jamestown to Jamestown?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right. So go to the yearofreturn.com, but you should have heard about it because it's been one of the widely advertised programs. But let me just put it in context. The idea of the Jamestown to Jamestown is to bring our people from Jamestown, Virginia, back to Jamestown, Accra. Now, in the community, we met with all the key stakeholders, the community groups, the chiefs, and everybody is ready to receive them on the 20th. And so that is what we are planning for. The following day, they have a big African American Investment Summit, because a lot of the people who have come have said they want to find ways that they can invest, take advantage of the opportunities that exist. We're working with the Exim Bank, JIPC, to give them a total brief on opportunities that exist, and also make sure that they can make the right networks and make the right contact. That is one of the biggest things that is happening this month, but it rolls on. For example, this evening there's Miss Heritage Global, which I know Multimedia is partnering with 50 or so contestants from around the world here in Accra. They're doing this evening. The Marcus Garvey Foundation is also here. They're doing a charity ball at the International Conference Center. So all these things are happening. It may well be that we try as much as possible to look for people to come in. So it's more of the inward traffic that we are driving. And so a lot of international attention has been placed on this. We try to get to the right network, the right touch points for these people. And that's why we've been able to get the numbers that are coming in. But as you said, we still have a long way to go in terms of local advertising. And we take that feedback, we work on it.
I get that it might cost quite a bit to advertise, put it out there and all of that. But may I ask you, there are quite a number of tourism ambassadors, celebrities who are tourism ambassadors in Ghana. Some of them have very large followings on social media. For example, Yvonne Nelson has over 5.5 million followers on Instagram alone. Have you reached out to these celebrities to help spread the word and advertise the year of return, the activities the Tourism Authority is undertaking and all of that?
I think by and large, we have a coordinator for that. I know information has been shared to the extent that they've been asked specifically that push the year of return. I don't think so. But I mean, what we I've indicated, what we are trying to do is to drive the traffic in. So the inbound traffic is as important as local participation. Some of the people who come, for example, the people who are coming down the Jamestown to Jamestown, it's not something that they want to be mobbed on the streets. So some of them tell us specifically that we are coming in, but please, can you keep it on the quiet for us? Or if there's no opportunity for a Durbar or a big event, they ask that we keep it so that they can have the solemn moment to engage. When the Congressional Black Caucus came in here, we were supposed to go to Asenmanso, the Elmina Castle, Cape Coast Castle. People were ready to meet up with them, but they said, no, we want to have it a private moment. It's a solemn moment for us to go into the dungeon, see how our ancestors were treated. And so we don't want media in there. We will take our own pictures and we'll give you copies. So when it happens that way, there's little that you can do in terms of reaching out to the local community, because the idea of the year of return is that let them come in. And so if they are coming in and say, look, keep it to a certain degree for us to be able to have our private moments and enjoy the country without the full glare of the media or people following us everywhere. I mean, when Stevie Harvey gave us the opportunity to take him around, his team also said the same thing, that we don't want to come there and all of a sudden he cannot.
I'm struggling a little bit with this when you say that sometimes they come in and they want to be quiet. I don't understand.
No,
you see the point.
Let me explain.
May I just ask the question? May I just ask the question, please?
No,
it seems to me that the point of the year of return is to bring in, Africans in the diaspora, come and experience Ghana, celebrate 400 years of transatlantic slave trade, and then we have our tourism benefits and all of that. So if they want to come and then they want it to be quiet,
let me explain that part.
Then how does it? Yeah, explain to me. How do we benefit? How do we maximize their being here?
Yeah, so let me explain that to you. When Steve Harvey is coming in and you put it out that Steve Harvey will be at the Du Bois Center at 3 p.m., I don't think there can be any movement. The whole Accra will come to a standstill. That part is what he says. I don't want you to announce my itinerary for the world to know. After they've been here, after he's gone to Du Bois Center, I mean, when Samuel L. Jackson was here, he put out there the food he was eating and all that. So we're not talking about keep my visit quiet, but don't announce my itinerary. So when people say, oh, why didn't we hear that they were going to be here so that we mob them? These people are coming on holidays. They have not been paid to come and work for the country Ghana or for the tourism ministry. They have responded to a call that Ghana is a country that is calling out to the African diaspora to visit. If you go out on a vacation, you want to have your moment. You don't want a situation where all of a sudden you can't have a private moment. And that's what I was explaining. So it's not like they come in there and they don't put it out there. Steve Harvey has tagged along his pictures. He's retweeted some of the things that people have put out there. So it's not that he doesn't want the country to benefit. But I was responding to the issue of people saying, oh, we didn't hear that they were here, or we didn't know we would have participated. That's what I was explaining to you.
Okay, I get that, but maybe you don't get my question. I mean, the whole point of this is to make Ghana a key travel destination for African Americans and Africans in the diaspora. It's supposed to boost local tourism. It's supposed to, serve as some kind of a launch pad for great initiatives between Ghana and the world. So if can we segment, for example, their visits so that the first 5 days they have their private tours and quiet time and vacation, and then the last 3 days we can hear of them, we can see the social media hashtags, we can see it out there, all our TV stations, all our radio stations, international media talking about it and all that.
That happens. When Kofi Kingston was here, he came with WWE. We had Ishra got the first interview as soon as he landed from the airport. He was on almost all the platforms. He gave opportunity he went to Labadi. There was a wrestling match that he sat in to see. So we're not keeping them from the public. But we're just trying to distinguish between people like that and events that we organize. The events that we are organizing, for example, Miss Heritage Global, they've been all over the place. They were planting trees yesterday. They've been to Asin Kushia. They were in Cape Coast, Elmina, Kumasi. People, we put them out there. They met media and all that. So those we do. But I was saying for some of the celebrities, which has become the issue that, Steve Harvey is here. Where can we see him? And we're saying those ones is not. We don't have that control of saying Steve Harvey, go to the mall and meet people and there's a meet and greet. If that opportunity comes, we'll put it out there. We have gotten the feedback, and for the Full Circle team that came last year, it was one of the touching points for them, and they've engaged with the diaspora office that next time they come, let's find moments of engagement with society, and that's the reason why, for example, next week I've told you we have AJ Johnson and Michelle Reese from TV1 coming in here to organize master classes for producers and directors. That is as far as some of these things can go.
I see. Well, okay. We'll not keep you too long, but before you go, how much is Ghana investing in these events, and how much do we hope to make out of it? Is it money we hope to make, or?
When we say Ghana seeks to make, for example, on an average, there are research that we do. Average tourist coming in spends about $1,860. And so, to that extent, if you look through the numbers that are coming, plus the entire value chain, some stay in hotels. If you went out there this week, for example, or next week, asking to book into a hotel, you can hardly get space. Most of the hotels are booked. In Cape Coast for 2 weeks during the Panafest, there was no space in any hotel in Cape Coast. And so that is what we want to see, that the hotels are full, that the restaurants are doing business, that the airlines are picking up passengers. That is the chain, the value chain, the entire chain that we, because we're not charging these people to come in. The economic activity that tourism generates is what we look out for, and that is what we're doing with this year of return.
Okay, we wish you all the very best with all of your activities, Jamestown to Jamestown, and all of it. We hope to hear more. We hope to hear more.
Hopefully you will help us with that.
Please reach out. I'm very available to you to help you.
All right,
because I, for one, am very interested in the year of return and all that it stands for. So when we don't hear about these things, it's concerning to us.
All right,
so,
I understand that.
Thank you so much,
My
Mr. Kwesi
Uncle Ken and Rasta.
Uncle Ken, your friend says hello.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hope everything is going well.
We're on it. We're on it.
You really are.
With your support and help.
Right. Good luck, sir. You really are on it.
We'll talk later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
thank you so much, sir. That was the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mr. Kwesi Agyemang. Uncle Ken, you were very quiet throughout the conversation.
Yes, I was listening. It pays to listen.
Yes.
To things you do not know about.
You don't know about the year of return?
I mean, to things you do not know are happening. You know, like you were posing your questions as to some of the things. And I might not have heard, but other people might have.
Uncle Ken, you hear everything?
I don't.
You hear most of the things?
I don't hear most of the things, and I hear very little.
Uncle Ken, you...
I am telling you, I hear very little of what's going on. And so I like to listen, and then people can prompt me to alert me as to what's going on. And
I don't believe you, but okay.
You see, she says she doesn't believe. No, there was I did not want to prolong Mr. Akwesi's ordeal with you because I was going to ask him. You see, this year of return thing, it was not just governmental programs. It was other people who had programs that they felt could be incorporated in the year of return calendar. So if you look at the calendar, it had things like he mentioned the Deborah Cox concert that happened recently. You heard him?
Yes, I did.
And I was expecting now to ask him how successful that was. And why, if it wasn't that successful. You know, now that was a private initiative that had been incorporated into the year of return calendar. And it's very difficult when you have a calendar that you are inviting people to come and fill. Kwame, I think
certainty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is a very difficult thing to do. You are asking people to come and fill.
You were at the concert. Uncle Ken, I saw you boogieing at the concert.
You saw who?
You. You didn't see me?
No, I didn't.
I was there with Dela Glanu.
I saw Dela Glanu. I didn't see you.
I was with him.
Where?
We sat. You know, the wings were empty. So we were over there.
And so you didn't see me because I never sat.
Dela Glanu. Did I see Uncle Ken at the Deborah Cox concert or not?
You did not see me.
You even spoke to Dela. You almost attacking Dela.
Where?
About the matter.
Where?
About the show.
Where?
At the event.
Where did I attack him?
Let's leave
I am trying to.
Okay, let us leave this.
I am trying to make the point that you didn't see me.
It's okay.
Dela Glanu must have told you
no.
He had seen me, but you didn't see me because if
ask
you
Billy. Ask Billy.
Billy must have told you I was around.
So everybody told me.
So
everybody told me.
I don't want to expose myself as to why I am trying to say you didn't see me. But if I was to expose myself, you would know you didn't see me.
Expose yourself.
You want me to expose myself?
Expose yourself. We are off air. We are off air.
I say you want me to expose myself.
No, I don't.
That's why I'm saying you never said. You said you were sitting at the wings.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I was all over.
You were all over.
I was hashtag all over the place.
All over the place. You said you were going to read a particular.
Philip Nye has taken it off the screen.
Oh.
Anyway.
What was the person saying?
The person was talking about the person who wrote the Dow word to Rasta. Yes, he responded, but Philip Nye has taken it off the screen.
Because I wanted to go back to
I'll find it and read it. There's a message here from Mike Eastlegon. He says, now the explanation your guy is giving, who's my guy, is giving doesn't make any sense to me. This is supposed to be Africa's greatest event ever. And you are telling us that people want to remain private sometimes. Chai, let this idea come from Nigeria and you see how the world will freeze. I'm truly disappointed. Well, anyway. Philip, find Uncle Ken's message for him. Unfortunately, we have to cross over
yes,
to the Habitat Fair.
And we won't be back.
We won't be back.
So
I found your message. Let me read it to you.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap up. Ransford in Adabraka texted back. He says, I understand your panel. Just that sometimes we try to play the quickest finger game when it comes to social media.
Okay.
It's just like Pidgin English. But Uncle Ken, your advice is well noted. Thank you.
Oh, I see I see his point. You know, and I'm just saying.
But you see, the point is, even with fastest fingers, when people say KK, instead of okay.
I ask myself, how fast are those things?
How fast is KK?
Exactly.
Anyway, we have to wrap up.
Oh, what a shame.
Yes.
I thought we had
wrap
till 6 and I could expand on this matter.
We will talk more next week.
Social media, you know. But yes.
Final comment.
Yes, the year of return.
Yes.
My final comment on it. I think that because of the fact that other people or individuals can come and occupy the space, the authorities do not think that they need to do everything for the individuals. Because if you are occupying space that has been allotted to you by virtue of the year of return calendar, then it behoves on you to try and advertise your own show and make sure it comes off well. And maybe that's why we're not hearing too much of some of the things that are happening. But it's a good venture. And I just hope that between now and the end of this year, things will pick up and will patronize most of the shows.
It'll be better.
Yes.
I have a message from Whitney which says, now forget it. It is related to who they know and their people. What's the essence of celebrities coming to Ghana if they cannot meet their fans or the commoners? What's the point? Okay.
But I'm surprised Whitney didn't send this message to me today.
But you don't know which Whitney it is, Uncle Ken.
Oh, but this is the same Whitney.
There isn't only one Whitney.
I say it is the same Whitney.
Rasta, final words.
You remember when Obama came here, President Obama came here, and some good people, traditional rulers, were waiting for him. And then he forgot that they were there and he went back to America. In this town, it happened. People were
did it?
Yeah, yes.
No, I didn't hear.
Okay, I'm telling you.
Okay.
So you see, people would want to come here for spiritual, cultural, whatever their reasons are to come in. I get it that celebrities would, of some standing, would want to come and have their peace of mind, but it also is incumbent on persons at the helm of affairs to fit in some space or some activities that would let, because these are persons who might never come back here again or would fall off the peak or whatever. We need the me moment, the fun superstar moment, so that we can use those photos and then sell it through our
Thank you so much, Rasta. And thank you, Uncle Ken.
Thank you,
This has been Showbiz A to Z live on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Na Ashoko. We'll cross over now to the West Hills Mall, where the Joy News Habitat Fair is happening right after these messages. Stay tuned.
My name is Amina. I work with the Immigration Service.